welcome to yet another exciting production from MNL, Next Generation Sports, partnered by JEMCON Consultancy, your solution to town planning and construction. And today I am joined by special guest Peter Garwe, where we are talking about volleyball issues, the Harare Volleyball Association constitutional amendments, and also player issues. I am your host, Thomas Mangwiro. Peter, I'm excited to host you today.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
And also congratulations for being elected into the Harare Volleyball Association Executive Committee.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, sure. Make yourself comfortable as we shoot straight. Thomas Mangwiro is my name again, and now Peter Garwe, the Executive Committee member elect for Harare Volleyball Association, and also former chairperson of the Harare Volleyball Association Players Committee. Peter, the players are the biggest asset in any sport. And looking at the players in Zimbabwe, there is no television, and in some instances, or rather in most cases, there are no prize monies. How have the players managed to survive?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think it comes to the love and passion of the players of the sport. The players themselves, they feel like they owe it to their passion, the joy. Hence, they don't worry much about finances. They don't worry much about all these issues, even though back of their minds they have that in their domain. But I think that has driven the players themselves to be where they are today. It's not easy, but I give credit to the players from all clubs that they've gone this far and wide to play the sport that they love without any remuneration. Some do get, but not that much. But with their passion, we've reached this far, and credit is given to them. Honestly, it's a good thing that you have these players willing to play the sport.
With only passion, the passion from the players, do you think it is the ideal situation we have to be in, considering that those players need transport, they need to eat, in some cases, or most of the cases, they are financing their teams. I've seen in a number of occasions players contributing to go to tournaments. Is this the situation we want to see on the ground?
Definitely not. It's quite disheartening to have players financing themselves. But we anticipate that in the foreseeable future we have these players actually getting other people to come on board to assist them, the corporate world, well-wishers, individual people who can come on board and assist the players in making sure that they at least meet the players halfway in order to have them participate and have them play the sport that they love. Obviously, it's disappointing to have the players themselves contributing most of the expenses that they face. But we hope in the foreseeable future that will change, and it will change, and we hope the sooner the better. Then it relieves pressure on the players themselves.
Yeah, you talked about corporate partnerships. Is enough effort been made to attract corporate partnerships by the leadership?
Well, it's not an easy route based on the economic situation, but yes, there is a hustle that has been done, and it's still in process. We hope by the time we get up to probably mid-June, July, we will have something positive or tangible for the corporate world to join in and be part of the sport. And most importantly for the players themselves, having these corporate entities coming on board to assist them. Yeah, good times are coming, and very soon we have something bigger and greater.
You have been the chairperson of the Harare Volleyball Association Players Committee. Are there any contracts for players in the volleyball fraternity or volleyball league?
Indeed, contracts are there. I can safely say when we got into office, that was our first or our initial point of agenda, that each player should have contracts. a little bit of swabbles into 2022, but the moment we got into 2023, all issues were solved. Hence, you notice that there were no player contract swabbles or problems. So yes, that we can safely say all players have contracts. We now wait for 2024, which I believe most teams or most clubs have adhered to player contracts, and I hope by the time the league starts, all players who have contracts tabled with the Harare Volleyball Association Secretariat, as well as the Players Commission, to confirm and verify that those players do have contracts.
Is it about the players, the issue of squabbles? Is it that the employers are honoring the contracts, or it is that the players' contracts, if nothing much, they do not give much to the players, so there's nothing to squabble about?
Well, it's a bit of both, I should say. Typical example of contracts might not have issues of remuneration, but they have other benefits which you get, and it's a win-win for both the employer and the employee, in this instance the club and the player. So it's a bit of a 50-50 chance, but we hope that there is a certain standard of contracts which we anticipate that a player should have, and also the club should adhere to. Hence, the contract is very important for a player as well for the club.
Let's agree, Peter, or disagree. There is not much being given to the players. There is no remuneration being given to the players. There is no health insurance for the players. You, as the players committee, what have you done? Because when I looked at the terms of reference for the players committee, I saw that you subordinate yourself more to the HVA rather than be an advocacy group for the players.
No, truth being told, the Players Commission actually has done justice to the contracts per se. Obviously, not everyone would directly, there is that player club confidentiality, so we might not get the full idea of what's happening in those contracts. But the general consensus that we have seen, that players and clubs themselves, they have adhered to these contracts. We might not know who is getting what and who is getting this out of the contracts, but that's the duty of the HVA then, to have the full understanding of the contract. As the Players Commission, we just make sure that these contracts are legally binding, and we have done our part. Yes, we are affiliated to HVA, we admit to that, and at the same time we've tried by all means to advocate for the players' welfare, both on and off the court, and we have done to our level best. So it's a hard nut to crack as far as of responding to that question is concerned, but yeah, we have done our part with the little space that we have been given by HVA.
Based on your experience, do you think the players committee, which subscribes to the association, is the best way to deal with player issues, rather than a union for players whereby it is an independent entity where the players will be subscribing and make themselves heard?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I believe having a players commission it's adequate, just the same as the referees commission and the coaches commission. It's just a matter of all these players agreeing to one, or you being unified as one, regardless of which club you play for and which team you're affiliated to. The Players Commission actually has done good, and I think with their presence, it does go even further. It is a big thing that the players should be affiliated to and be part of the HVA. So it's necessary to have the Players Commission be there for the interests of the players at heart.
Well, viewers, this is the hot seat, brought to you by MNL and partnered by JEMCON Consultancy. And today I'm joined by Peter Garwe, the Executive Committee member elect for Harare Volleyball Association, and also a former chairperson of the HVA Players Committee. At this moment, we are going away. Stay tuned. Welcome back, viewers. This is the Hot Seat, an MNL program partnered by JEMCON Consultants. And today we are talking to Peter Garwe, where we are talking about player issues. In the first segment, we were talking about the players, and now we are continuing. And I am your host, Thomas Mangwiro. Yes, Peter. In this second segment, we were talking about the players, and now let's continue a bit in this segment about the players. You have been the chairperson of the Players Commission from 2021 to 2024. How many times did you meet as a committee?
Right. We met once since we got into office. Then part of the executive, they were no longer available. Others went for the program which is sponsored by Zimbabwe and Norway, SBU. I think most people know her. We also had Blessing Manai, part of the executive. We had Shama Muneta, Progress Gasa, who also went with that program as well. So yeah, it was difficult to have a physical meeting, but we had online meetings where we would catch up, update each other on issues which are happening on the ground. And yes, we got positive feedback from these players, from the committee, and it rallied us further to resolve any disputes which were there when we got into office up until 2023, where we can safely say there were no issues which hampered the HVA in terms of players. So we can say we did good, and as much as we met on doing online virtual meetings, but we went far, and I applaud for their efforts. Special mention to all those who were part of that executive, that we did very well in solving most of the issues which players faced during their play, both out and inside the court.
Okay, you say you represented them well. I may want to hear it from the players, but looking at the terms of reference, it says you have to meet at least 5 times in a calendar year. If we multiply that by 4, it should be 20 times, and you met once. You can't say that was a proper or adequate representation of the players. Well, players, if there are any watching this program or waiting for your feedback, give us feedback if you feel that you were properly represented. But 1/20, do you think that is proper representation?
Well, truth being told, that's not proper. That's an embarrassment in some sense. But the most important thing is we would give feedback to the players themselves. If they can testify that we would give them regular updates and constant communication between the executive committee and the players themselves into issues which were up and running. And yes, meeting once in the 4 years that we have been, does tell a story about the situation which is happening, but that did not derail us from the job at hand. The virtual meeting still counted in as much as the terms of reference have been mentioned. We managed to maintain the status quo in meeting where necessary to deliberate on issues of players. And yes, in as much as the terms of reference stated otherwise, the players themselves should, they will give us a thumbs up for what we did. It was not easy, but we managed. Consider that most of these people who were in the executive were no longer, physically with us. But we managed to keep up to date and keep each other tabs of what was happening. So yeah, too bad that we didn't meet, but worth it.
Do you think they feel they were adequately represented, or is that they don't know that you exist, or what you are supposed to do for them?
No. The players themselves knew what we were up to, what our terms were, and they were represented from different clubs. Hence, we had that uniformity from all those clubs. So we did everything within our powers to represent each and every club, each and every player, and each and every individual both those who were not playing or who were injured or those who were not feeling well. We did take part, and I appreciate the effort of the players themselves in coming together with the executive to be one united front. So yeah, I have no regrets. I do believe the players and the executive did meet what they could, did do what they can achieve, and yeah, here we are.
So, in my own view, I think a players' union is a better representation of the players rather than the players' comment. What is your view?
Well, I don't want to shoot at the Players Commission because it's part of Harare Volleyball Association.
An arm of players reporting or being subordinate to the association.
Yeah. Well, the Players Union it's fair to say
it is an awkward position, right?
Yeah, it is a very awkward one, but I think I do appreciate that a Players Union, sort of makes it a better reading than the Players Commission. But in order to unify these players, the Players Commission feels to me like it's a better setup, which HVA can take up and hear the concerns of the players separate from the way the Players Union might, because you're scared of revolts and then players don't come for games and all of that. So I think the Players Commission kind of is the bridge between the HVA and the players themselves. So you need that Players Commission around, in as much as the Players Union might suit best. But yeah,
a Players Commission is a light animal to deal with for the association. That is what you want.
Indeed, and it's a manageable one.
So you want to always suppress the players?
Not necessarily suppress. You want to give them the right to do what they want to do, as long as they are guided by the HVA.
Now that you are in the association, you are a legal expert. What are you going to advise the association?
Well, yeah, there are a lot of issues that I think there are, but in respect to players, the main reason why I wanted to be part of the HVA committee was to put the interests of players at heart. So being part of the executive gives me the right to put the heart of players at front, be the voice of the voiceless, probably say they are Nelson Mandela kind of a leader for them, so that their interests are preserved, and for the interest of the sport as well. And I hope through this process, it's a process, by the way. It will take time, yes, but it gives me the upper hand of giving new players into the system, getting to know it and be heard. Then you have players who then outshine, and we get players which are then maybe bought in the other regional systems and international. So yeah, it's just all putting players on the map and be heard and have their needs met by HVA.
The Harare Volleyball Association has the player transfer policy, but we don't have the same policy at national level, that is the Zimbabwe Volleyball Association. Do you think that policy can or will serve its purpose?
Indeed, I at one point advocated for that player transfer policy to also be implemented to ZVA, and I think they have also adopted it as well, partially. But coming to that, I think it will be a bigger incentive to the players if that transfer policy document or a player transfer policy is adopted with ZVA. There are so many players who are willing to play for different clubs in different provinces in different circumstances. So that player transfer document should also apply to all players, whether they're coming from Shalom, whether they're coming from Bedbridge Eagles, whether they're coming from Dangamvura Knights, whether they're coming from Chino University of Technology, from Bindua University. That document should save everyone. So I'm hoping very soon that ZVA, maybe by the time they get to the Congress, they will adopt the transfer, player transfer document, and it will be good for everyone.
Well, viewers, this is your host Thomas Mangwiro, and today I'm being joined by Peter Garwe as we are talking and dissecting about volleyball issues. This program is brought to you by MNL and partnered by JEMCON Consultants. This is the second segment, and we are going away for a moment, and we'll meet in the final and third segment. Welcome back, viewers, and this is the third and final segment of the Hot Seat, brought to you by MNL and partnered by JEMCON Consultancy, your solution to town planning and construction. Today I'm here with Peter Garwe as we are talking about volleyball issues in Harare province, and we're talking about players. Now we want to talk about the constitution. On the 13th of April 2024, the Harare Volleyball Association held its congress at Mkushi Police Academy, where among the agenda items was the constitutional amendment proposals. But it did not go ahead as people felt they were not conversant to some of the sections which were meant to be amended. And Peter, talking about the HVA constitution, what is a constitution?
Oh, when you're asking a guy what is a constitution, it's difficult to respond because that's, it comes in so many things, but basically it's a series of rules and regulations that govern a certain area or a certain place or certain constituency. So in this instance, the constitution of Harare Volleyball Association are a series of rules and regulations that govern the sport in Harare Metropolitan Province.
Did you yourself look at the proposals that were forwarded to HVA?
Yes, I did peep through most of the proposals, and funny enough, I had also some of my proposals, thrown in. One good proposal that I put was the introduction of the social welfare volleyball committee, be part and parcel of that, as well as the club and secretary, club chairperson and secretary committees being part of the constitutions or the constituencies which or affiliates of Harare Volleyball Association. And the rationale about that is want to incorporate everyone into the executive or into the constitution, regardless of where they come from, regardless of who they are. Their voice also needs to be heard. So in as much as we had the referees commission, the players commission, the NAF, the NASH, the ATS, felt that the social welfare volleyball league committee, as well as the chairpersons and secretaries of clubs, should be part and parcel of that affiliate. It gives a wider view of perspective of what we want as volleyball in Harare. So yeah, it's, among other proposals, but I felt the introduction of those gives a better way of having a uniformed or a united thing in respect of volleyball.
Do you think, in your own wisdom, your constituents, or rather your affiliates and members, have constitutional literacy?
No, they do not. And but I also give credit to the former Harare Volleyball Association executive, and they did their part in conscientizing the people in respect of what the constitution is. Maybe it's also a thing which I've seen it even not only from Harare Metropolitan Province, but I've seen it also from other provinces in other spheres, whereby the constitution is only discussed when it comes to elections. Other than that, the other 4 years, 3.5 years, you don't even know what the constitution is. So I think it's with the new executive coming in, I think the conscientization of the constitution is of paramount importance. And we hope by the time we get into into 2024, 2025, most people, everyone under the Red Volleyball Association would understand what the constitution is, in as much as the amendments being there, but the general consensus of people knowing what the constitution is very important.
I have a copy of the proposals here, and among the proposed amendments was Article 5 dealing with objectives and fundamental principles. And I want to quote this section 5.1.5: to respect and prevent any infringement of the statutes, regulations, directives and decisions of FIVB, CAVB, Zone 6, AUSCR 5 and ZVA, as well as the rules of the game, and to ensure that these are also respected by its members. And the proposed read or change or comment was should be removed and then be covered in the ZVA constitution. What is your comment?
It's difficult to let this point be covered by ZVA constitution only. I feel it has to, escalate even downwards to the zona or to the ward level, because that's the fundamental basis of, players come from different areas. And volleyball, we are saying, it starts from the very bottom, from the ward level, going to the district level, the provincial level. So having the ZVA constitution only cover that, I think it's a tough ask for ZVA to do, considering that Article 5, it's very important for an athlete, very important for a coach, very important for a referee. Exactly. So I think there is need for that to, I believe that should be left there, and then actually escalated to district and zonal levels. It gives a wider and a better understanding of what they need to do, because imagine you have spoken about FIVB. Yeah. If you teach someone about FIVB rules and regulations only at provincial level, I don't think that will make sense. So I believe, starting from the very bottom, teaching the kid from playing volleyball at the age of maybe grade 5, grade 4, getting to know what is FIVB, ZVA, CAVB, Zone 6.
And how we should subordinate ourselves.
Exactly. They need to know, because they are future leaders. When they are going to be players who might be, playing in the national tournaments. They don't need to know about it when they come across the ZVA constitution only. They need to know it from downwards. So I feel that article needs to be left there and not let ZVA constitution be bundled by these other articles.
And another interesting one, Article 8, Rules of the Game, 8.1. Members of HVA shall play in compliance with the rules of the game issued by FIVB, 8.2. Only FIVB may lay down and alter the rules of the game. And the proposed read is, rules of the game, let's rephrase to suit HVA. Those rules are for FIVB official competitions. Let's cascade down our own playing rules in line with the local situation, state of economy, etc. Your comment?
Well, I have mixed emotions about that. Normally, you say you need to, do everything in line with FIVB rules. And truth being told, with the state of economy, you have to alter as long as you stay within the domains, or let me use the Latin words, in tandem, like means in line with the rules and regulations of FIVB. So yes, having our competition rules or rules which suit us, yes, but they should not be directly away from the rules of FIVB. Yes, and FIVB talks of official competitions, and I believe every match that we play under HVA is an official competition. So I don't know, I have mixed emotions about that. It's quite difficult, but I believe, we don't necessarily have to move away from the rules of FIVB just to suit our personal needs, but at the same time we need to preserve the fundamental principles that FIVB has given us, and we adhere to them.
Yeah, and on 11 May, the HVA will recongregate to deal with the constitutional amendments. What is the advice you can give to the affiliates of HVA in regards to constitutional issues?
Well, between now and the 11th of May, we anticipate that all affiliates conscientize with the requirements of the Constitution in respect of those which they wish to be amended. At the same time, I wish that we agree on the amendments. Those which do not pass, they don't pass because they don't meet the interest of all the affiliates. And I hope that it doesn't only cater for only a certain part of affiliates, but it has to cater for every affiliate, whether it's a player, whether it's a referee, whether it's from NASH or NAF, whether from ATS. We need to make sure that volleyball is played correctly in accordance with the rules and regulations of the sport, in particular the rules of FIVB and the constitution itself. It's funny enough, the constitution itself, it's very clear. So I hope the amendments just buttresses the need that we need volleyball to be clean and it's a safe sport as part of our agenda. So we hope that by the 11th of May, and when they come for the on the 11th of May, we anticipate a so flowing things for the amendment of the constitution. Those which won't pass, fine. Those who pass, amended, and we move on for the betterment of the sport in our province.
Do you think it is an ideal situation to have a member who is not even established? Maybe to give you an insight, we are talking about District Volleyball Association. They are the only members of the Harare Volleyball Association. What we have only are affiliate members. Do you believe we should continue like that?
Well, we have mixed emotions about that. For once, I believe the district, they should be part and parcel. Let's not leave anyone behind. The mantra which you always say, do not leave any person in any place behind.
But they are not established.
Yes, but we cannot. We know that they
Who should establish them?
Yeah, that's the tricky part. The person who should, or the people who should establish that are the district affiliates.
The district affiliates.
Yes,
and they are not there.
Yes,
So how do you move when you don't have them? They don't exist.
Well, we cannot remove what is supposed to be there. It's a mandate that we should have these districts available. That's no secret, and it's very clear.
So it places the mandate on the provincial association.
Indeed.
So you want to agree that we are failing as an association?
I can't say we are failing, but we are just failing. We are not in a position to put these district associations or district committees in check, then to balance the duties which the district should be doing. It's not easy, especially when you're running a province like Harare. It's quite difficult. It's very difficult.
But it is very easy because in Harare, all the districts are housed in the same location, unlike the other provinces, where you have to travel from one district to the another. You have to travel about 200 or 300 kilometers.
Yes, true. Let me just say, in respect of that, it's the issue of the districts. It's quite difficult.
Why have we failed then to establish a district volleyball association? Because there's nothing to it.
Indeed, but you see the challenge that will then, if we don't have these, how are we going to escalate our sport down to the zonal level? We need these structures to be there. So you want these structures to be working, and we'll make sure these structures are there. It's part of the mandate which the HVA executive wants to institute. That these structures, the moment they are there, it's easy for us to develop the sport down from the grassroots level. If we don't have them in our executive or in our affiliate, it's going to be very difficult to escalate downwards. And even our development wise, it's like we are bypassing a certain protocol, and that's a very important protocol. A district committee is very important for the establishment of volleyball within a particular district. So we want to aim that that district committee escalates what we want to achieve as a province, downwards to the zonal levels, downwards to the grassroots levels, even downwards to community, to community levels, even to household levels. If we don't have that, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, you have a lot ahead of you in the Harare Volleyball Association executive. You have just been elected, and the chairperson was also elected, and also the secretary general. It is a lot of work. I think there is a need to push the Zimbabwe Volleyball Association to do more to bring back the grassroots, because without the grassroots, we are not going anywhere. Maybe we say we are privileged that we have got institutions who are still able to finance their volleyball teams. That's why it is like volleyball is alive. But do you think volleyball in Zimbabwe is alive?
It will not die. It has never died. It is alive. And for the obvious reasons that we are here today, it's because of volleyball. If there was no volleyball today, we won't be here discussing about this. So it's not dead. It's still very much alive. And trust me, by the time we get to 2025, we will be somewhere very far.
Well, viewers, that was Peter Garwe joining me today in this episode of the Hot Seat, brought to you by MNL and partnered by JEMCON. Time is of jealousy, and it leaves me to thank my guest Peter Garwe for joining me. Thank you for being with us today, Peter.
Most welcome. Hope I'll come back for another episode.
Sure, we will definitely invite you back again. And viewers, this leaves me to thank you and give us your feedback as you tune in to our program on YouTube. I am your host, Thomas Mangwiro. I'm out.